Hi, everyone. Lisa Haven here. Well, in today's broadcast, I really want to hone in on this indictment of Donald Trump because I cannot stress how important this is, because I do believe that the Department of Justice, the Biden administration's Department of Justice, has literally declared war against American voters. They have declared war on us and on free speech. That is what this one indictment is all about, your ability to speak or not. And this is why we are at the very helm of everything that's going on. And by the way, I'm going to be really blunt with you. Donald Trump actually faces the literal death penalty if certain things fall in line. And I'm going to show you that as well. Now, do I think he's going to get it? No, I do not believe he will get the death penalty, but I do believe they're going to do everything in their power to put him behind bars and stop him from being our elected president in 2024 if he so gets elected. So with that, before I dive into it, I just want to give a quick shout out to my sponsor, LisaHavenGold.com. If you guys haven't gotten a 401k, a Roth IRA, or something backed by gold and silver, you're really kind of putting something off that you should not be putting something off because of all the economic turmoil that we are now having. And I purposely sponsored with them because I believe wholeheartedly in what they do. But go to LisaHavenGold.com and fill all this information, and they're going to send you this free gold and silver investment guide. But on top of it all, give one of them a call at 1-877-646-5347 and speak to one of their no-hassle agents. All right. So let's dive into this Trump indictment and what the hell is truly going on and how the Biden administration has declared war on free speech and how he's utilizing his AKA Stasi, also known as, the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the CIA, how he's using that against us. You see, we really are becoming a third world country. And I have to say this, I am terrified to the very core. And I really am. Because if they're allowed to do this to Trump, you can guarantee you that they're going to come after you for just speaking about an election, something they don't particularly like you saying about an election. They're going to come after you, and they're going to come after me. But they'll start with those at the very, very top, like Donald J. Trump. But let's go straight to the indictment document itself, because I want to point out how I don't even know how to say this, how ridiculous this entire indictment is and how it literally screams that there is another agenda with this indictment, especially considering the fact of this chart that I'm going to show you, where it shows every time something bad happens with the Bidens, Joe or Hunter Biden, bam, they indict Trump. And it's this cool little chart. It's not cool. It's really sick, but it really goes to show that there is a weaponization of our United States three-letter agencies, right? But here's the actual indictment from Jack Smith, the United States District Court for the District of Columbia. And here it is, U.S. versus Donald J. Trump. And it says all of his violations here on the far right. Count 1, conspiracy to defraud the United States. Count 2, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding. Count 3, obstruction of an attempt to obstruct official proceedings. Kind of sound alike there. And the fourth one, conspiracy against rights. Now, what I find interesting here is the way that this is worded is basically all of number 3 that you see at the top here. It states very clearly, the defendant had a right, like every American, to speak publicly about the election and even claim falsely that there had been outcome determinative fraud during the election and that he had won. So in other words, he is saying Donald J. Trump has every right to speak freely about the United States election. And he goes on talking about lawsuits that were filed. And then he says, however, Donald J. Trump does not have the freedom to speak on the election freely. I mean, he just totally contradicts himself in this entire statement. Therefore, the defendant perpetrated these criminal conspiracies, a conspiracy to defraud the United States by using dishonesty, fraud, and deceit to impair, obstruct, and defeat the lawful federal government function by which the results of the presidential election are collected and counted. Number B, a conspiracy to corruptly obstruct and impede the J6 proceedings. And 3, a conspiracy against the right to vote and have one's vote counted. So that is what they are going after him for, which literally is an indictment on our freedom of speech, especially regarding our freedom of speech around United States elections. And again, this is not the kind of thing that normally happens in a free country. the United States of America. This is something that happens in third world countries. But let's go through his indictment a little more, because there's two other parts I've just got to show you about how stupid Jack Smith is, that he's actually willing to put this in an indictment and act like, there's some kind of precedent there. And a lot of people have not pointed this out. But the next section, if you scroll down to section 80 right here at the very top, here's what he's doing in this section. He says, on the morning of January 3rd, co-conspirator 4 met with the defendant at the White House, again, without having informed the senior Justice Department officials, and accepted the defendant's offer that he became acting official AG. In other words, there's nothing wrong, that there's nothing illegal about that. He's saying, number 80 says a DOJ official met with Donald J. Trump, his boss. A DOJ official meets with his boss, Donald J. Trump, and because he did not inform the Attorney General, somehow that's not acceptable or a crime. What the? All common sense has left the building, but whatever. I mean, this is happening with a very liberal judge. But it goes on, and there's another section I really want to point out. And it's section 114. And what he's claiming here is he's claiming that this is the reason we need to take Trump in, because this is him trying to ignite a coup, right? So section 114 basically says, Donald Trump was trying to ignite a coup. And so here's two of the tweets that he uses to justify the fact that Donald Trump was not basically telling rioters to leave and all of that, and somehow ignited some kind of coup. And here's the tweets that he references, and this is just laughable. Tweet A, please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement officers. They are truly on the side of our country. Stay peaceful. So Donald Trump is trying to ignite a coup and encourage the rioters by telling them to stay peaceful and support the police. Okay, let's move on to the second tweet here. Number 2, B. I am asking for everybody at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. No violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you. Again, how is that encouraging a coup or encouraging people in any way, shape, or form to conduct any illegal act? Oh, he's not telling them not to go or whatever. I mean, he's not igniting a coup here. He's saying be peaceful and do not be violent, and hey, love on the men and women in blue. I mean, this is the most ludicrous thing that I have ever seen. And this is coming from a judge who just wants to kiss the ass of the Biden administration or whoever is pulling the strings. Because this has nothing to do, in my opinion, with anything other than a political attack on the President of the United States. And speaking of, by the way, I found this article rather intriguing. This is on Breitbart. Jack Smith's charges against Trump could potentially include the death penalty. Special counsel Jack Smith's indictment on Tuesday against the former president and his role for attempting to challenge the election could include weighty felonies and even which the death penalty may be applied. And it's this particular section here. Conspiracy against rights includes a penalty of up to 10 years in prison, but it adds that if death results from the actions covered under the provision, the offender may be executed. And I'm not going to get into the whole stance here. You guys can pause it if you want to read this whole thing. But basically, what they're saying, if there's any attempt to kill, aggravate, kidnap, potentially or attempt to do any of those things, they shall be fined or imprisoned or even be sentenced to death. Not that I believe that that's what is going to happen, but the provision is in this particular thing. And by the way, just so you get an idea of how many years Donald Trump could spend in prison based off of this BS kind of stuff, he could get up to 55 years if they were to convict him of all the counts. And on the other one, if you go back to his documents, his classified documents, up to 460 years. I mean, the guy would die in prison. Basically, you've got a federal term of 515 years in prison. This is 5 lifespans. This is how corrupt this organization is and how bad things really and truly are, because I'm just irate at what is truly going on in this country. But with that, let me show you, and I think this is very important to see. I want to show you a timeline of when bad things happen to the Bidens, and this is evidence that they are very corrupt and they are only going after their political enemies. Every time that the Bidens get attacked, they indict Donald Trump or do something against Donald Trump. And this was created by Dan Bongino and his group, but I think it's a very important chart. Take a look here. And here it is. On August 4th, 2022, Christopher Wray answers senators' questions about FBI downplaying information on Hunter Biden's laptops. On August 5th, the New York Post reports that Joe Biden met with Chinese energy executives with ties to Hunter Biden in the White House in 2024. And then bam, a couple days later, we had Mar-a-Lago raided by the FBI. Trump got raided by the FBI. Scroll down to March 30th, 2023. Hunter Biden was asked to use his FBI contacts to help his Chinese business partners arrested for bribery and money laundering. As a whistleblower claims President's son had a mole agent who tipped them off. And also on the 30th of March, House hearing on the weaponization of federal government. And then bang, on March 30th, Trump indicted by New York grand jury prosecuted by Alvin Bragg. So just like that. Then we go forward a little bit more. On June 8th, Joe Biden allegedly paid $5 million to Burisma executives as part of a bribery scheme. Bang, the very next day, Jack Smith charges Trump with 37 felonies. Then we have on the 26th of July, Hunter Biden plea deal blows up. On the very next day, New York Trump indictment says he ordered Mar-a-Lago camera footage deleted. New indictment also charges Carlos de Oliveira, a maintenance worker at Trump's South Florida resort. Then we have the most recent one, July 31st, David Archer testifies before Congress, and bang, the very next day, on August 1st, Trump was indicted for January 6th riot. So there you go. There's nothing suspicious about that at all. Only everything, right? Only everything. This is what, six times. Every time something bad happened with the Biden, bang. And I think they're going to save that forthcoming indictment with Donald J. Trump that we're waiting on with in Georgia. They're going to wait for something big to come out about the Bidens. By the way, just to show you the level of corruptness that these people are willing to go through, the judge who has been appointed to Donald Trump's case there about this J6, well, she is an Obama appointee, right? Here we have Hannity.com, the Obama appointed judge overseeing Trump's J6 case. And then we also have this, dailycaller.com. Trump's DC judge worked for a law firm that employed Hunter Biden and, hey, even lobbied for Burisma. You know where all that money came from. And by the way, just as a reminder, because I think this is the most important point, this is a war not only against Donald J. Trump, this is a war against us. If you're a Republican, a conservative, a libertarian, or a Christian, this is an attack on you from the Biden administration, showing you how big and bad their DOJ is and how they could go after anyone and indict you for your freedom of speech. This is about attacking criminal dissent and punishing the millions of people who voted and are going to vote for Donald J. Trump in the future. This is a warning to us not to do it again, or they're going to come after us. It's clear as day. And that's why I see us slowly losing everything in our country. And we're way far behind, folks. I don't know fully if we'll be able to catch up at any point now. I don't know. God, I pray each and every single day that we can. But this is literally an attack on us. And it really is on our freedom of speech. Now they're saying basically you can't say anything we don't like about the election, or we'll take our DOJ and come after you. This sets a precedence. This entire indictment sets a precedence. And by the way, here's my personal take on it, since this is more of a liberal controlled jury pool, if you will. I don't think it's going to look good at any level until it gets to the Supreme Court. I think the Supreme Court will end up throwing it out, but it's going to be dragged out all the way through 2024. And I do see this going all the way to the Supreme Court, of which I believe the Supreme Court will eventually throw it out. That's my 2 cents. That's regarding this J6 one. But on top of it, to prove my point that they're not only after Trump, that they're going after all of us, take a look at what happened also for for this indictment, right? This is foxnews.com. There were 6 co-conspirators named in January 6th Trump's indictment. And here's the conspirators. They're saying Rudy Giuliani being one of those, John Eastman, an attorney, right? A lot of his attorneys, by the way. This is why Donald Trump has a problem getting attorneys, because they always do this kind of crap to him. Sidney Powell being another one. Jeffrey Clark here. We have Kenneth Cheesebro, and then a 6th one that we don't yet know of. They've kind of kept that one silent for now. So this clearly shows that it's not just Trump, it's a bunch of other people. And by the way, Democrats are taking this as the go-ahead. Well, let's just go after some of our political foes while we're at it. Take a look at what just happened in Michigan, right? Here we have the Gateway pundit. Michigan Democrat AG follows Joe Biden's lead and indicts her former GOP opponent, Matthew. Wow. So now, since they did it to Donald Trump and went after, their political opponents, let's just start doing that on a large scale for those Republicans that we don't like. It's a scary, scary place. And this is my warning to you. We just have to get the right people in, and we have to start getting involved politically. Anyhow, with that, I love all you guys. I had to touch on this topic. There is just way too much involved, and a lot of the people are not talking about a lot of the things they should be talking about regarding this indictment. But with that, please get to Restricted Republic. If you really and honestly want a true and open dialogue and conversation, I can do that over at Restricted Republic. And we do live stream events. Everything is commercial free, and I do exclusive videos that are solely for that platform, and I do at least 5 of them a week. So check it out at restrictedrepublic.com and use that coupon code Lisa and the number 5 to get it for $5 per month. Anyhow, I love you all. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.